Well, I've got a 49ers superstar update. Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Nick Bosa, Trent Williams, all those guys. That's worth nearly $1 billion. We're climbing up the hills of San Francisco just as quickly as the 49ers costs are escalating. But it's really funny because just a couple months ago, there were people trying to say that the 49ers were cheap. Well, between 9 players, the 49ers over the course of the past 21 months have committed nearly $1 billion worth of salary. $912 million to be exact. Their entire A-list core, the foundational pillars that I like to identify on my depth chart, those guys have all signed new deals, starting with Nick Bosa in September of 2023, moving all the way to Brock Purdy and Fred Warner this week. How about that? I could just go through the list. Purdy, the 49ers committed $265 million total. Christian McCaffrey, that was last year, $38 million in an extension. Kyle Juszczyk, $8 million. That was after some drama a little bit earlier this offseason. George Kittle, earlier this month, $76.4 million. Trent Williams, $82.6 million. That was right before the start of the 2024 season. Brandon Ayuk, $120 million. That one obviously was anxiety-inducing for the 49ers. Nick Bosa, to start it all, with $170 million. Fred Warner, that was very recently, just a couple days ago, $63 million. And Deommodore Lenoir, $88.9 million. Those are the 49ers' 9 foundational pillars. Maybe they're able to add a 10th or 11th foundational pillar, but they're just about at the maximum that you can expect on a football team. This is a very talented roster. And all of those financial commitments over the length of those deals adds up to $911.86 million. So nearly $1 billion committed by the 49ers over the course of less than 2 calendar years to their A-list core. So I think that they have successfully blown up the narrative that they're cheap into smithereens. I can't wait to do a number of things, and I know I've already started to do them, but sometimes we really need time to flesh things out. And one of the things I want to flesh out is the 49ers offseason strategy, because all the stuff that we were charting earlier and predicting earlier has turned out to be true. We said they're following the Rams model, except they're spending a whole heck of a lot more money on their A-list core than the Rams. But the Rams, they decided to double down on the load-bearing walls of their roster, replace everything else with youthful exuberance. 49ers are replacing the B-list areas, the formerly cost-inefficient areas, with rookie exuberance. There's 18 rookies on this team. But what the 49ers have and other teams don't is that truly, truly robust A-list core. The fact that I could list 9 players who have commanded $912 million in commitments over the course of the past 21 months, that's something I would only be able to do if I were covering the 49ers. So I hope that people understand the difference between a renovation, which the 49ers have obviously undergone this offseason, and an actual rebuild. When people talk about rebuild, the stigma there, and I think the effective definition there, is the removal of all A-list talent. The 49ers are not removing A-list talent. They've committed nearly $1 billion to their A-list talent over the course of the past 21 months. So it's quite the opposite of what one of the prevailing narratives is. I don't understand how the truth can literally be 180-degree opposite from what the media and a lot of fans are saying. Like, you would be okay with things being a little bit off, but with something as consequential as this, I mean, we're talking about the 49ers roster building strategy and how they allocate their finances, and this is a high-profile football team. I mean, they've got the highest valuation right now in all of world sports, $8.5 billion. It looks like some of that cash on hand, by the way, can help the 49ers with these $900+ million in expenses. But with so much at stake and with so much scrutiny on the 49ers, how people can be so wrong in their analysis of this team just absolutely blows my mind. By the way, good recommendation for you guys. This is the Buena Vista Cafe right there on the corner. That is where the Irish coffee was first served in San Francisco. There's an awesome story regarding the Irish coffee and Stanton Delaplane, who was the San Francisco Chronicle's travel writer. He was in the Shannon Airport in Ireland when he told the bartender that he wanted something that gave him a little bit of a kick, caffeine-wise, but he also wanted to drink a little bit of whiskey. And, well, the bartender made him an Irish coffee. And he called it an Irish coffee, and Stanton Delaplane came back to San Francisco, started this place, and brought the bartender from the Shannon Airport over to the city. There's a plaque on the wall there that tells you all about it at the Buena Vista, right here, Hyde Street, San Francisco, by Aquatic Park. You should go check it out. My plane has made an emergency landing in Shannon before, and it was cool to associate a place with the story. Anyway, there's been just some embarrassing takes regarding the 49ers, but I think that when you look at the actual numbers, the financial ones have been the most off base of all. The 49ers are spending, they're spending big, and we could always just go back to that Rams strategy. We can go back to the Buffalo Bills strategy, and also look at how the Philadelphia Eagles have built their defensive line, because that's where the 49ers are going heavy on the youth movement. But this is about where the 49ers are going heavy with veteran presences, and I think that they've still got at least 2 simultaneous prime years with all of these veterans. And Purdy obviously has way more than that. In fact, in the case of Brock Purdy, I'll leave you with this. We should start talking about when his next contract with the 49ers will come. Because if things go Purdy's way, and if things go the 49ers' way, he's not going to play on this deal through 2030. There'll be a new one coming before then. The offseason of good faith can turn into the decade of good faith for the 49ers.